The man they're calling the discount KDB. Why you need to go all in on Man United players. And there's a Danny Ings injury update. This is the Fantasy Football Cheat Sheet, where we give you up-to-date injury news, predicted lineups, key fixture analysis, who to transfer in, and loads more. And all from official sources. And we're working from home now, which is easy for me, as I can go straight back to bed after this. Before I begin, it's worth knowing all this injury and team news is changing all the time, as the fixture list is packed tighter than Fernando Torres' jerseys. So I'm going to get you up to speed with everything you need to know, but make sure you double check everything you do before clicking confirm in the coming days, especially with a round of FA Cup fixtures this weekend. The treatment room. Okay, what's the story regarding injuries for game week 20? Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang came off against Newcastle with what was said to be severe stomach cramps, or is it just sheer disbelief that they're playing well again? Either way, we expect him to be back for their very tricky fixture away at Southampton. It's all well and good beating Newcastle, Brighton and West Brom. This is the real test. Staying with the Saints, Danny Ings will almost certainly be back in the starting 11. He had almost completed his period of self-isolation for their last game, so we'll be back for this one. Keep an eye on how things play out with his contract though. The Englishman only has 18 months left. Where do you reckon he'll end up? Liverpool could use a goal scorer. I wonder if he'd work out there. We've had to do a bit of maths on this one, not exactly our forte, but back on the 11th of January, Calvert-Lewin was confirmed out for 10 to 15 days. In theory, DCL will be back at the latest on the 26th of January, and Everton play their next Premier League game on the 27th. They don't call me Sean Lock Holmes for nothing. Wilf Zaha missed Palace's last game with a knock. Shock, Zaha doesn't play and Palace get barred. Roy Hodgson's general tone on this injury was that it was an issue that arose due to the sheer volume of games. And Zaha being one of the most fell players in the Premier League probably. By the time Palace will play West Ham on the 26th, he should have had 12 days rest and should be back to full health until he gets near West Ham's box. Brighton have got an injury list as long as my arm. Connolly, Lamptey, Welbeck, Lallana and others have all been sidelined recently. Welbeck and Lallana, that's not like them at all. Ironically, they've had better results in the past few weeks. Of the absentees, Lamptey is the standout given his early season form. He won't be back until early February, and just like death and taxes, you can always be certain of a Welbeck knee injury as he continues to struggle. Key fixtures. Let's pick apart 3 games from game week 20. What are the numbers telling us? Who should we avoid? Spurs versus Liverpool. Firstly, both clubs are in action this weekend in the FA Cup. Liverpool travel to Old Trafford while Spurs are off to Wickham on Monday night. Liverpool will have a day extra rest too, but I'm sure Jose will tell you that himself. Liverpool's away form has been pretty poor this year. They've drawn 5 and lost 2 of their 9 games on the road. The recent history between the two sides does make for better reading though. Liverpool have only lost once in their last 18 meetings between the sides and have won the last 6, including a certain Champions League final. Though this time they'll be bringing the bus. Harry Kane has only scored once in those 6 games, but let's be honest, Fabinho is not exactly the same prospect as Virgil van Dijk. By the way, Mo Salah has more goals in his career against Tottenham than any other club, so maybe hold off on subbing him out this time. Everton versus Leicester. Woof woof. 2 underdogs in this season's title clash these are. Only the Red Devils have a better away record than Leicester this season. That's 7 wins out of 9, and we all know why. Jamie Vardy. Ironically, only 20% of you are picking him in your dream teams. He hasn't scored against Everton in their last 2 meetings, but did score in 4 out of the 5 before that. Interestingly, Everton were the last side to beat Leicester this season. Goals from Richarlison and Holgate meant all 3 points went to the Toffees in mid-December, not that long ago at all. However, Leicester have since had Castagna and Maddison return to full fitness, while Ndidi has reverted to his natural position in the middle of the park. Leicester, in our opinion, are favourites for this one, especially when you consider the fitness doubts surrounding 11-goal Calvert-Lewin. Man United versus Sheffield United. Sheffield United play anything like they did against Spurs in the first half. This game is double up territory with Rashford and Bruno. The pair are 2nd and 3rd respectively in the overall Dream Team points ranking. They've outscored the likes of Salah, Son and KDB. Ahead of the Fulham game, the pair have 33 goals and assists between them. Sheffield United have only scored 10 goals in total. And Rashford's only been picked by 20% of people compared to Bruno's 71%. Chris Wilder will be struggling to get out of bed once he sees his side's away form. 9 games played, 1 draw, 8 losses. As I always say, All the best. And you know, we like digging into the history of these key games. Sheffield United have not beaten Man U since 1993. Glyn Hodges got the winner that day. It was Glyn that day, it'll be Grin this day. The naughty step. Who's suspended for the upcoming game week? Well, the graphic to my left will let us know exactly that. Right, let's crack on. Transfer ins. Right, let's get to it. 3 names we think you have to get in your side this week. If you're playing Dream Team, remember each month you get 5 transfers to do with as you please. So if you haven't made any, perhaps consider the names I'm about to say. Raheem Sterling. Ever heard of him? Now, City players in general are, of course, an obvious one right now, particularly in defence. Their back four is buttoned up tighter than the UK's borders right now. But one man who's only selected by 20% of Dream Teamers is Raheem Sterling. It's been a slow start for him, granted, but he still has 8 goals in all competitions. And don't let that recent benching against Brighton fool you either. He's only not started 4 games this season. His goal against Palace will surely be the catalyst for a little early 2021 run of goals. And after all, he was Dream Team top point scorer last season. Let's not forget. City right now look better than they have done in the past 18 months. They've scored 4 goals against Crystal Palace, which was only the second time they've scored 4 or more all season. Dream Team, of course, includes all cup competitions, of which City are still in every one. Ollie Watkins. Aston Villa are playing catch-up given their recent string of game cancellations. As such, Villa will be playing more games in the near future. Inside the top 10 for shots taken in the league is Ollie Watkins. Grealish perhaps gets all the attacking credit, but we can't forget the influence Watkins has brought since coming in. His 6-goal return is actually not representative of how well he has played. And what better games to pick up some points than Newcastle and Burnley. James Maddison. 3 goals in 3 consecutive matches makes James Maddison a midfield must-pick. It took him a while to get into his groove this year after missing the back end of last season through injury, but now he's firing on all cylinders. But despite the lack of minutes at times, Maddison is still the 6th highest scoring midfielder on Dream Team and nearly £3 million cheaper than KDB. Leicester are playing the sort of football we saw in their title-winning season right now. With the pace of Barnes and Vardy around him, he'll be racking up the assists too. Leicester face Leeds, Fulham and Wolves in their next few games, and in their current form, Fulham looks like the toughest games out of those 3. I can't keep up with the league this year. Predicted 11s. Alright, so you're up to speed with who's available. Let's get some predicted lineups coming your way. My personal favourite part of the show. Right, that's all from us. Just before I leave you, I've got to remind you about our Dream Team Fantasy Football game. We've got a new and exciting subscription service for you this year called Dream Team Coach. It offers projected scores, fixture difficulty rating, projected price changes, and loads more if you're looking for that extra detail when picking your team. It's available really easily in the app and there's a link in the description below. Oh, and by the way, it's now 50% off. So now's the time to get on that. Let us know what you thought about the show in the comments. Tell your mates about us. We're working hard every single week to give you the most informative video on the internet for fantasy football. And let us know what your teams are going to look like. Have you got any obscure picks? How's your season gone so far? Okay, I'm off. Good luck this weekend.